With the NFL season 4 weeks away and unfortunately no preseason, there is a lot to discuss with not a lot of time to do so. We're going to be doing breakout players by division, and in Tuesday's video we did 5 from the AFC West. And in today's video we go into a division that's pretty unusual compared to most, with teams like the Titans, Texans, and Colts. The Titans made a surprise appearance in the AFC Championship game last year, but who knows what they'll do this year, and the same goes for the other 3 teams. But in today's video we're going to be discussing 5 breakout players in the AFC South and how they will positively impact their teams. Now, before we get started, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now let's begin. And we start today's video in Indy to discuss rookie wide receiver Michael Pittman. Pittman is a rookie out of USC for those that don't know, and he has some serious potential in his rookie year. In his final year with the Trojans, he went for over 100 catches, over 1,200 yards, and had 11 touchdowns, and solidified himself as one of the best receiving prospects in the entire 2020 draft. He is in a great position to break out in year 1 for a few reasons. He is a big-bodied receiver that quarterbacks, Philip Rivers included, love throwing to, and he will be a big red zone target early and often. He won't necessarily be double teamed either, as T.Y. Hilton will still be on the field, so opposing defenses will have to deal with both of these guys and not just Pittman. And as if that's not enough to deal with, the Colts have one of the best offensive lines in the entire NFL, and that's largely due to 2-time All-Pro guard Quentin Nelson. If you're a fan of my channel I've been following for some time, then you know how much I love this guy, but Quentin makes a world of difference, and giving Philip extra time to throw the ball at 38 years old will be huge. In addition, a good run game helps out receivers in the sense that defenses have to at least respect it, because if they don't, then the combination of Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack could easily run for 200 combined yards and make it an even longer day for the opposing defense. Pittman will walk into a great situation for him to be productive and for him to maximize his potential, and could very well put up 55 to 60 catches, 850 yards, and 7 touchdowns in his rookie season. Lastly, and not a lot of other receivers can say this, but the corners in the division are not that good. Just last year they had Jalen Ramsey and AJ Boye in the division, and now both of those guys are gone. In is CJ Henderson, but he won't be either of those guys in year 1, it's that simple. Pittman has a good veteran quarterback, good weapons that play alongside him to eliminate double teaming him on offense, and not good opposing corners to play against for 6 of the 16 games the Colts have. Combining all of these, and it makes for a successful rookie season for Michael Pittman. And next is Gardner Minshew of the Jags. Now, I would venture to say all of us know who Gardner Minshew is, but he wasn't really a breakout player last year. He was the quarterback on a team that had the 9th overall draft pick and a team that finished just 6-10. In 2019 though, Minshew, despite playing on a team that wasn't good, he was solid in his own rights. He had a very good 21 touchdown to just 6 interception ratio and was 500 as a starter, as he was 6-6. He can break out in 2020, and I don't think a Pro Bowler, but he can be even better than he was last year. There's no reason to think that with a full offseason under his belt and a full season as the starter, he can't throw for 3,800 to 4,000 yards and throw for 27 to 29 passing touchdowns this year. He is a bit of a wild card, but the Jags did him a service by adding a young receiver like Leviska during the draft. A lot of people at this moment in time think the Jags are doing everything they can to tank for Trevor Lawrence, and while that may be the front office's plans, without it being said publicly of course, Gardner may prove that he is their franchise quarterback and that he will be their guy for the next decade. That is a little premature, I know, but I do think he breaks out this year and has a very solid second season. And whether you are a fan of Leonard Fournette or not, he is a solid running back and will only help out Minshew's development. A stat a lot of you may not know is Leonard had more receiving yards after the catch than Juju Smith-Schuster or Adam Thielen had receiving yards in 2019. They were both injured, but the point stands in Fournette being a solid running back. With the combination of not great secondaries in the division, young receivers to grow with over the course of the year, and Gardner's natural progression he will have as a quarterback, there's no reason to think he can't have a breakout and a good second season. And next is another player a lot of people know, but he really never has broke out, and that's Texans receiver Will Fuller. Fuller has just 156 catches in 4 years, and given that he is a former first-round pick, I would say that's a little underwhelming. Not bad by any means, as he wasn't the same draft class as Laquan Treadwell, but not exactly like his former teammate and former first-round pick DeAndre Hopkins either. But with Hopkins now off the team, this leaves Fuller in a good position to produce and to have great numbers for the first time in his career. The Texans also acquired Randall Cobb and Brandon Cooks this offseason, and while I don't think those guys are bad, I don't think they will outproduce Fuller, at least not at first. Fuller had a career high in catches and yards in 2019 with 49 for 670, and he can certainly expand on that in 2020. He was used as primarily a deep threat for the first 4 years of his career, and that can change as he breaks out. Now, as great of a player as DeAndre Hopkins is, he does limit what other players on the team can do, as over 100 catches and over 1,000 yards in each of the past 2 years, that'll limit Fuller's production. Fuller, like the aforementioned Michael Pittman, will benefit from being in a division with corners that aren't great, and as the team's number one, he can exploit those corners in his division. I don't think Will all of a sudden put up Hopkins' numbers with over 100 catches, over 1,500 yards, and 11 touchdowns like he did in 2018, but I do think Fuller is capable of a 70-catch, 1,000-yard, 8-touchdown year. A lot of people know who he is, but he really hasn't ever broken out, and I think that's something that changes in 2020. And next we go back to Jacksonville to discuss rookie wide receiver Leviska Shenault. Leviska was a great prospect coming out of Colorado, and there was some speculation he was going to be a first-round pick, but ultimately fell to the second round where the Jaguars scooped him up. In his final 2 years with the Buffaloes, he had over 1,700 yards receiving, an additional 276 yards on the ground, and 17 total touchdowns, and proved he can be a do-it-all type player. He can be a good weapon early on, as he is a playmaker with the ball in his hands, and he more than proved that in college. Now, I would imagine the Jags will use him on bubble screens or short quick slants just to feed him the ball, or even wide receiver designed runs, and because of the sheer opportunity I think he will receive, he will be a breakout player in 2020. Shenault probably won't ever be a 1,500 yard receiver, but he very well could be a player defenses always have to watch for, and be in a Swiss Army knife type role. And while players like that aren't Julio Jones or Patrick Mahomes of offenses, defenses always have to know where these guys are, and they must always be accounted for. And we wrap today's video up in Tennessee to discuss Harold Landry. For all of the attention Tennessee received last year during their AFC Championship run, between Ryan Tannehill having a great comeback year, to A.J. Brown going over 1,000 yards as a rookie, and of course, Derrick Henry being one of the best players in football, the defense didn't get that much attention, and Harold Landry certainly didn't get much attention. However, he quietly has 13.5 sacks in the first 2 years of his career, and had 9 in 2019 alone. He stepped up big last year, and I don't want to say he could have 15 sacks in 2020, as that's enormous expectations for anybody, but I don't think it's out of the question for him to have 12 sacks, to force a few fumbles, and to be one of the best players on a great team. He probably should have got some recognition last year, and while he didn't, I just think that'll make him even more hungry for the upcoming year. And with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like the video, it helps a ton. I always welcome video suggestions. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.